Bobby Ingram, Curtis Ennis. Know that we've been loyal way back from the beginning. A trusted source for the news. 'Cause every night for Halas, what it is, what it do. Since Bobby Ingram, Curtis Ennis. Know that we've been loyal even when we wasn't winning. A trusted source for the news. It's every night for Halas in your ears. You.
Awesome. The Bears. What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome back to another edition of 79th and Halas. This is episode 287. It's your guy, Scott and Flo, here back at it. Of course, you know to follow us on all social media platforms, man. That's at Barbershop Scott, at Flows and Delaney. Follow 79th and Halas at 79th and Halas on Twitter. And of course, subscribe to the Patreon, man. Patreon.com/Barbers Chat Network. That link is in the description box right now, so you can click on that. And if you are too lazy to click on that and you just want to get straight to it, man, you can scan the QR code as I'm trying to hit on the damn screen right now. But StreamYard is lagging. But anyway, here we go. Patreon.com/Barbershop Network. You can scan this QR code. It'll take you right there for all of the different tiers that we have up there. The 79th and Halas tier, you can usually get these episodes up early. I'm not gonna hold you, Barbers Chill access, all the good shit, summer sessions, man. So we appreciate everything where you're at. And where you're at, and subscribe to my YouTube channel, man. I've been, posting a lot of stuff on there. We'll continue to post stuff on there throughout the season, even after the season. That's at Barb Chair Scott. Link is in the description box, and the QR code is up on the screen. Trying to get to 500 subscribers before the end of the year. I'm currently at 416. So, like Matthew McConaughey said on Wolf of Wall Street, those rookie numbers, we need to get them numbers up. So let's get them up. Anyway, we appreciate everybody tuning in. Another episode. Bears are 10-4. How we feeling?
It's an interesting place to be as a fan of the Bears, as someone who's covering the Bears, because I don't know how to feel. And I know that's probably some folks will think like, man, what the fuck are you talking about? You all have had so much success. Why is there not, what do you feel? And my thought, honestly, is not negative. It's just, I don't know who the Bears are, And what I mean by that is I don't know the type of team that they are. When I see them, I see a lot of talent. I see probably some of the best coaches in the league in one staff. I see Ben Johnson. I see Dennis Allen. Hightower, and I was like, man, these are very good coaches, one of the best play callers, a defensive coordinator who, truly lacks a lot of talent in major areas such as a defensive line, and yet they're still managing to get so many turnovers. And you have to take someone like Nashawn Wright, who has, he's bounced around the league for a little bit here and there, never really was a consistent starter. Matter of fact, I don't want to say never really. I want to say never a consistent starter. 27 years old, Oregon State grad, has played on about 3 teams, and look at him. Nashawn Wright's going to be a freaking Pro Bowler easily. You know what I mean? Has the stats to be like a second team All-Pro. That he does, but so I see that. I think, wow, it's such a talent pool, but who are they? And it's coming into several facets. And I think this Chicago Bears team is a tale of 3 teams. Now, what I mean by a tale of 3 teams, and if you pardon me, I had to just make sure I brought up their schedule so I can remember again. When I look at those first 2 games, Minnesota, Detroit, Minnesota it was a letdown. You easily had the game won as you did not let them come back. Detroit, never really close. They dominated you from start to finish. You looked like you did not want to be there. You look confused. But then you go on that 4-game win streak against Dallas, against Las Vegas, Washington, and New Orleans. And really outside, Washington was close, and so was Las Vegas. But, you were playing with capable teams, and they did solid. And then you go to Cincinnati, you go to New York, and you go to Minnesota, and you have a team who is, we're letting teams that they should beat in the game, and they had to come back and win at those times. And then I think about Pittsburgh, I think about Philly, Green Bay, and Cleveland now, and I see a contender. So actually, I think there may have been 4, and I see a contender. So I think to myself now, who are they? Are they the team at the beginning of the year that is struggling so much to even compete? No. So I can take that out, and we're down to 3. Are they that 4-game win streak when they went to 4-2? I'd say no, too. And it's not that they were playing bums, because I don't really believe in the whole concept of playing bums. But you're going against, I think Dallas may be the only one who even has a shot at the playoffs, even though it's like 0.1%. Either Washington.
Pittsburgh.
No. I'm talking about Dallas when they play at the beginning of the year. Dallas has a 0.1% to make the playoffs. It would have to go perfect for them to happen. And so you look at Vegas and Washington, and no, these teams are not making the playoffs. And you see they're bum slayer, but beating up teams that they're clearly better than. Then you see them losing to Baltimore against someone like Tyler Huntley, who, again, they should have smoked. I mean, even with the way Baltimore's playing now, if Lamar is playing, they should beat. And they don't. They get actually embarrassed. And I look at this and I see 4 different teams. One we can take out because I don't think they're at the beginning. And my concern now is, who are you? Going into the playoffs, this is one of the most wide open years in NFL history. The Eagles, the defending champs, don't look like the champs right now. The team that won the AFC is not even going to go to the playoffs right now. It's anybody's league. And so my concern just is, who are they? What are they going to do? Who are the Bears that we're looking at?
Well, I think they're a good team. I think that's it. They're not great in anything. They're a good team. Like, the offense is good enough to win, and the defense is good enough to win. Like, the defense, one thing I'll say, if we look at just 14 games in now, the 14 games sample size that we have here. If you look at the numbers, right? If you look at the pass rush numbers, if you look at the amount of points given up and stuff like that, this will tell you this is a bottom 5 defense. But they don't play like a bottom 5 defense. Now, granted, that's because of all the takeaways, 30 takeaways this season. Obviously that helps. I think this is a good defense. I don't think it's flashy. I don't think it's great. I don't even think it's bend or break. I just think it's a solid defense that you can win with. And in any other season, I would say that's not enough. But in this year's NFL, it very well could be. What I loved about the Cleveland win was it was a style points win. Now, we both said I didn't need a style point win. I just want to win. But it felt good to see a team that is as bad as the Cleveland Browns. I mean, they just invent ways to lose. And they handled them like the team they are. Now, of course, obviously, there was that quarter and a half offensively where, a couple guys dropped some passes. Cole Kmet dropped the pass. The Burden dropped the pass. Ben had some questionable play calling and things like that. Caleb had some questionable decision-making. But it was a domination. So I think this is a good team. Like, I see what you're saying. Like, who are they, like, description-wise? I think the only way to describe them is good. They're a good team. But I feel like if I look across the league, I can say that about every team in the NFL right now. Even somebody as good as the Los Angeles Rams, they can't stop a nosebleed defensively, especially not running. That game against the Lions was a shootout, and the Lions shot themselves in the foot a lot in that game. So that's why I feel like, I'm not saying the Bears going to win the Super Bowl. I'm not saying the Bears going to win the NFC Championship. I'm just saying just clinch a playoff spot. And I believe they got as good of a chance as anybody else, especially if you end up with one of the first 2 seeds, because then now people got to come to Soldier Field. And let's be very clear. I do think bear weather is overrated, but you also got to look at it too, where a lot of teams ain't gonna want to come in this cold weather. You know what I'm saying? I don't want to say the Rams, because 2 of their best players spent majority of their career in the NFC North, and Devontae Adams and Matthew Stafford. So I think they'll be fine with the elements, but let's not act like Matthew Stafford plays well in this weather, because he does not. He didn't play well when he had to go to Philly last year. And they put up a good fight, but he still made some bozo moves towards the end. Philadelphia is not playing as well. Seattle, are you worried about Sam Darnold in the playoffs? I'm not. Are you worried about Brock Purdy if he has to come to Soldier Field? I'm not. So I just feel like they're on level playing field with the rest of the entire league. And I feel like that maybe good will be just enough. And you bring up the point about the Chiefs. Yeah, the Chiefs not only going to make the playoffs, Pat's going to miss, I think, all of next year. Because even when he's healthy enough to come back, the earliest he's going to be able to come back is like Halloween. And by that point, I think the Chiefs are going to be out of it anyway. So why rush your franchise quarterback back? You know what? The entire league, the Bears, the entire league need to treat this playoffs in this offseason like the year and a half that Michael Jordan retired. Somebody gonna get that Houston Rockets championship, and I hope it's us. You know what I'm saying? Load up, because what Kansas City's gonna do, we're gonna let our quarterback rest up, and we're gonna suck, and then we're gonna draft Jeremiah Smith, and then he's gonna get Pat 2.0 with Jeremiah Smith. So that's why I think that when it comes to just specifically the Bears, I think they're just good, and that just might be enough this year.
Yeah, one, they ain't getting Jeremiah Smith unless they win like 2 games next year, and that ain't happening.
If Andy Reid steps away and Travis Kelce retires and there's no Patrick Mahomes, I can see it.
They'll win like 6-7 games, but they're not going to lose. You have to be like Jeremiah Smith is going to be either the consensus number 1 or number 2 pick. And yeah, I don't see that happening. But I understand that. No, I don't think the Bears are going to win the Super Bowl. I'm pretty confident that they won't, just because I do not think they have the personnel for it. That being said, this wouldn't be the first time. I mean, there's been times when Super Bowl champions have won, and I didn't think they had the personnel. But at the end of the day, sometimes it's the matchup. Actually, most of the time it's the matchup. So I won't say the Bears don't have a chance there. And part of it could be just the fact that, we're dealing with it as Bears fans, and we come to it with baggage. And the baggage is, even when they're good, they do something to fuck it up. The last Bears team to not do that, obviously, is the 85 Bears. The 85 Bears, Bears, they won. Yeah, the 85 Bears.
I mean, good, but that team also had the Legion of Boom.
Right. That team had generational defense.
Can I read a comment for you on Twitter that somebody said that they had a question for you?
Yeah.
They said, "Homie with the dreads keeps reaching. Who are they? They are 10-3. Well, they're 10-4. 2 counterfeit wins, but that is the game. Anything can happen on any given Sunday. My man with the dreads is trying too hard to hate without actually hating, or some such."
One motherfucker, you don't know who the fuck I am. So let's first start that. Two, if you're gonna say homie with the dreads, 7th Halas, my name is Joe. My name is Flows. Call me one of those 2 things, but it ain't nobody reaching. I've been covering the Bears for 6 years. I've been a Bears fan my entire life. It's not about reaching. It's about the fact that there are trends within the NFL and there are trends within sports, and turnarounds this quickly just don't really happen. And am I trying to hate? No, I'm just trying to be reasonable. We all have our times when we're, excited about what they can do. And yeah, they're 10-4. Were they in 2018, 12-4 or something like that? And lost in their first round. So it's
much worse offense, but yes.
We're not even talking about it. But see, we're not talking about, I'm not giving a direct comparison between offense. I'm giving a comparison between record doesn't necessarily correspond with who the team is. The same thing with any other team. The Patriots had won like a 10 straight, and I was like, I don't believe in them. I don't think they've been tested. They went against the team that tested them, whooped that ass. We're up 21-0 and scored once after that. So no, it's pretty rational and reasonable to say, I don't know who they are, because you don't know who they are. It would be foolish to say you know who this Bears team is. That does not mean they're not a good team. I do think they're a good team, because I think they've had hard-on wins. When there are times when they could have folded, they did not. They found ways to win, and only good teams find ways to win. That being said, I am not confident in who they are yet, but not confident that they can't do good, but not confident to make a decision of who they are. We have seen 4 different teams this year. And honestly, that's not subjective. That's objective, because in every single season, outside of maybe the Patriots 17-0 or 16-0, you're going to see a different team at different parts of the year. And it's about what you do at the end of the season and really details who you are as a person. It's like the Ohio State Buckeyes last year when they won the Natty. It was sort of off and on. You lost to Oregon. You lost to Michigan. They came through, steamrolled everybody in the playoffs. It was a team that I did not expect to show up. And so it's not really a reach to say, I don't know who these Bears are. Do I think they're bad? Fuck no. Do I think they're so-so? No. I think they're a good team. Do I believe they're a contender? Yeah. Do I think they're a favorite or a shoehorner can win? I don't know. And I think it's okay to pause a bit. I think it's okay to go, I don't know yet.
See, that's also,
the Packers game, that first Packers game, I was like, okay, it's showing that they can compete. But that first half, they did not. The first half, they rolled over. And so, again, this second Packers game will let me know more about who they are. When you're going against San Fran, someone that's 10-4, just like the Bears are, third in their division, and so they need to go ahead and get that wild card spot. How they play against them will also show who they are. And finally, at Detroit, which, who knows what the implications could be, that will show you who they are. And I don't think the Bears have had enough an opportunity to show who they are yet.
And I do think too that's that fan shit that I've been talking about. I don't know if you've noticed lately, but I've been on a crusade against sports.
You get offended because we're not jumping for joy, and that's perfectly fine. But I mean, it's okay to just say, I don't know yet. Let's see.
But I don't know if you noticed on my Twitter, I've been on a crusade against sports fans. Like sports fans, we're all sports fans. I love sports fans. Sometimes I just wish that we could think logical. Now, honestly, I'm asking a lot, and I'm fighting a losing battle. I understand it, but it's kind of like what I got like multiple times that I've had people come to my mentions because somebody said earlier this year, Caleb's holding the Bears back from being a contender, and I said if you think this team is a contender, you smoking dust. That was week 3. Okay, as the season progressed, it's an 18-week season. Each week, narratives change, teams change. I'm allowed to change my opinion. And just because I'm not jumping for joy and, kissing the team's ass doesn't mean I'm a hater. Like I said a couple weeks ago, I still want to see what time. It's kind of what we're talking about right now. Before they play Philly, I was like, I don't know. They ain't playing nobody. I don't think against better teams that you're going to get away with some of the stuff. And then when they beat Philly, I got idiots in my mentions talking about, you didn't believe. I have eyes, bro, and I'm not just a fan. I'm watching it with a logical eye of somebody who actually watches the game of football. So, yeah, when you say that you're being a hater, no. Being an idiot would be like, oh, we're going to win the Super Bowl, and the Rams aren't nothing. We can beat the Packers 3 times. That's illogical. You know what I'm saying? That's what we're talking about with that situation. I'm with you. I think it's a good team, but like you said, we'll know. Because while everybody is making playoff plans, I've been repeating the Kobe quote for the last 48 hours. Job's not finished. And I'm glad that the team has been saying that. I'm glad that Ben Johnson is echoing that. There is a world where this team still misses the playoffs. So don't be, getting over the top yet. You still have to get in. You know what I'm saying? And
I was just going to say I understand as a fan because, again, me and Scott are fans. Like, we're not, shout out to, friends like, Kevin Fishbane, Dan Wiederer, Jason Leisure, whose job and what they're paid to do is to, watch the Bears, but be a neutral and objective partner. It don't mean you set aside your fandom because sometimes you see it, wow, not many QBs can do what this person's doing.
We see every week in the press box. Everybody is fans.
Right. Mainly everybody in there is a fan of the Bears, but me and Scott have the leeway as independent reporters of the Bears to show more of our fan side. That being said, we've covered them long enough, and we tend to okay, let's step back. What are we thinking here? What emotions are we feeling? And football is not a game where I can give you a deductive conclusion on what will happen and what will happen. It's not a science; it's an art. But I've watched football for 35 years. Scott has watched it for 37 years. We know trends. We've seen teams do the things the Bears are doing and win, and we've seen teams do the Bears are doing and lose. It's not a correct science. And so right now, fans will take it as if you're not on the train, on board. It's like it's tribalism. If you're not with our guys immediately on board 100%, then you're not with us. You're a traitor. But I think that's a stupid binary. I'm not talking about that. I'm just saying, hey, I don't know yet. Because, again, remember, this is a rebuild. This is a retool. You had to come from, Ryan Poles obviously is the architecture of this roster right now. You had coaches who should have never been there the past several years. You gut them out. You take away that. You have to rebuild the offensive line. Now their offensive line is one of the best in the league, top 5. And you already had a great skill player in DJ Moore and Rome Odunze. You add a Luther Bird and a Colston Loveland. Offense has the tools to be great, absolutely. The defense still has some things it has to go over because someone like Kevin Byard, who's one of the best safeties in the league, is older. And so what happens next year? What happens going forward? Your defensive line is awful. And, Montez Sweat is having a good year, probably almost his best year in the league or so. I'm going to take it as disrespect. Best in the league or so. But it's okay to say, I don't know yet. Because what I'm not going to say is same old Bears. I knew they weren't the same old Bears probably after that Bengals game. I said, that's different. It's a different culture because they found ways to win instead of finding ways to sow sulk and oh my God and say, here we go. It's the same old shit. Because the truth of the matter is in football, stupid shit like that happens. Momentum is one of the craziest things on earth. I remember Bomani Jones said momentum doesn't exist, even though there are several scientists who disagree. All it is focus, muscle memory, and emotion, and it coincides. And once that happened, what did we see? We saw focus. We saw players fighting harder than they normally would. It's like a fight or flight reaction. And the Bears found a way to overcome that. And I was like, this is a good team. This is the team that has a good foundation. And now as it's going on, beating the defending champs, I said, okay, this is a contender. Do I think they win? I just don't know yet. And I think these next 3 games will give you a barometer. Like if the Bears go 0-3, I would say, no, they're not there yet. Not quite there yet. If the Bears go, 2-1, I say, okay, they're good. If the Bears sweep them, then I'm like, all bets are off. They could win. You know what I mean? So let's just wait and see. It's okay to wait and see.
I agree with that. Let's just a little bit about the Bears and Browns game, since we didn't really talk about it outside of like 2 minutes in that video that we did on the field. Said we got a quote right here. Shot City Kid, low-key, I thought not the same old Bears after the block kick. It felt like washing away old double doing sins. To me, that's not same old Bears a couple weeks before Cincinnati, because I don't know if you've been in a Washington game. They were up 10, and then Jaden Daniels took the lead back with a touchdown. I think it's like to Zach Ertz. Last year's Bears folded after that. And the way they bounced back, DeAndre Swift touchdown, getting another defensive stop, getting the ball back. DeAndre Swift touchdown, and of course, Nashawn Wright, government-mandated fumble.
Government-mandated.
And the game-winning field goal by their backup kicker, by the way. That sounds like it's not same old Bears. But to talk about the actual game just real quick, my thoughts were domination. That's what you want to see. You treat a rookie quarterback the way he's supposed to be treated. And that's exactly what they did. I do think that the defense, and I know it's going to sound like I'm, being picky, but they could have been a little better. They could have actually sacked him 8 times. He could have had 4 picks. Wright dropped 1, and there was 2 where they let, him wiggle out. But overall, I thought it was a dominant performance. And it really felt like the team and the coaching staff felt like, let's get these dudes out the way because we got bigger fish to fry. I don't know if you saw like some of the post-game videos after the game was over, when they handed out game balls. DeMarco Jackson was like, hey, I ain't gonna lie to y'all, like, this is cool, but I still got a bad taste in my mouth, and we need to go get our get back. DJ Moore's like, yo, we need to go beat the Packers. And Jalen Johnson said, yo, you know what I'm saying? Like, this is a cool win. 10 wins are cool and all, but we have an opportunity on Saturday to beat this team. Grady Jarrett, he said 10 wins. Y'all know what's going to happen next. So it's in their minds. And I really love what Ben said today. Ben said today, they asked him, like, you have any words of wisdom for the team? And he was like, if I got to tell him something before a game like this, then we're not ready. So I just love that for everybody who was yelling at us the last couple of years saying that, oh, you're letting the players off the hook by always blaming coaches. No, coaching matters, bro. And you can see that front to back in this entire team this year. Coaching matters with the quarterback. Coaching matters with the offense. Look at how the offensive line is doing. The offensive line coach called out Darnell Wright at the beginning of the season. It's like, this ain't enough. You know what I'm saying? He's looking soft. Darnell Wright looking like an all-pro this year. You know what I'm saying? I was thinking about today. You know how the offseason have NFL top 100? The Bears have 2 top 100 players, maybe 3. Joe Tooney, Darnell Wright, and Caleb Williams. And that's get better. Look at the DBs. Like I've been saying for weeks. Everybody say you can't keep living off takeaways. Yeah, in theory you can't, but this is stuff that they practice. All of Al Harris's secondaries that he's coached have led the league in interceptions. This is something that they teach. So Al Harris being great. The running back room. Remember how bad it looked the first 2 weeks of the season. Eric Bieniemy. So Eric Bieniemy, coaching matters. So to have they're not. I don't feel like the team is putting too much dip on their chip. You know what I'm saying? Now maybe I'm doing revisionist history here, but I always felt like during the Matt Nagy years, this team was never really fully prepared, even when they were winning. Like I do not feel like they had the right game plan going into that Philly game. That's why when we talk about who to blame, yes, Cody Parkey was bad. He is number 3 or 4 on the list of people I blame for that game. Right. Even if the Bears lose, I rarely feel like the game plan is bad. So that's why I feel like what I like about this team and how they handled this particular game. What did you feel about just the performance on Sunday?
I thought it was good. I think they should have probably been up at the half 21-0. There's still, I will say in the red zone, they looked much better than they have because they struggle in the red zone at times. But I'm happy to see them embracing some crossing routes, trying to get in that back of the end zone. What do you call it? A back 9-5 or back 5, which is targeting that back of the line, trying to, put it in a place where it can't get intercepted and it's only the receiver who can get it. Using someone like DJ Moore. DJ Moore is uber talented. He's how old is DJ Moore? 28, 29?
Yeah,
and
DJ's 28. DJ's 28.
So he's 28 years old. He's a young man. And reminding them that this is your wide receiver one. I love Rome, but Rome may not be back for this season. Who knows? He's he's struggling. So now you need DJ to step up and do what he does and allow him to go over defenders. And I love seeing the ball spread around. Cole Kmet's getting some use. Colston Love and Luther Burden are becoming ingrained with Caleb Williams and his offensive plan. DeAndre Swift took the competition from Kyle Monangai and just turned it up another level. He's maybe 60, 50, 70 yards away from 1,000. He's going to get 1,000 this year after almost getting it last year. Kyle Monangai is probably going to get 800, 900 yards. So, I mean, an insane run game, which I shouldn't be shocked because look what Ben Johnson did with Detroit. And seeing how well that they ran over the Browns.
Swift has 935 yards, 7 touchdowns.
Doing a very, very good season. What is his average?
Hold on. His average is 4.9 yards a carry.
I thought almost 5 yards per carry. And then the offensive line. Offensive line did a very good job on the Browns. It's a very, very talented Browns defensive line. Myles Garrett
Calvin Nungai has 681, 5 touchdowns, 4.7 yards a carry.
Well on his way to getting 800 yards for the season. We're going to have probably near 2,000 or more total rushing yards this season. Just a very, very good running attack. And then also look at that offensive line. They did a very good job. It's like, and it's funny because Myles Garrett is one of those generational players. When you look at his stats, he said, damn, only 2 sacks. That ain't bad. And that's the truth. Myles Garrett is probably the most talented defensive lineman I've ever witnessed with my own 2 eyes. I've never seen a game where he cannot take over. I've never seen anyone stalemate him. And I thought Ozzie Trapillo did good. I mean, Myles Garrett saw Ozzie Trapillo and said, hey, you did good. And then they're tight end. One of the defensive linemen said, hey, you did good. Like that's whether you realize it or not, when a defensive lineman tells you that, that's like, I didn't get as much as I wanted to, but you did solid.
They don't like offensive players.
No. And so seeing how well that they, did and how they really stonewalled that Browns defensive front, and then those linebackers who are extremely fast, struggling to keep up, with someone like, a Colston Love and a Cole Kmet. And then, I mean, again, go back to DeAndre Swift, breaking some big runs off, being tough, hitting those holes. And I think that was beautiful coaching by Ben Johnson, because when you see your player not getting as much as they could, hey, man, and it's not like a superstar, you got to light a fire up under their ass. And he lit a fire in DeAndre Swift, and he's having a very good season. And then, the wide receivers defense stepped up big time. I'm so happy to see Noel Sewell back, playing the linebacker position. I'm so glad TJ Edwards is back, because with respect,
we might get Maine back this Saturday. He's off IR.
With respect to all of those who backed up, even was it Jackson? I forgot his name, DeMarco, whatever his name was. Forgive me.
DeMarco Jackson. Yeah.
You need TJ and Tremaine back, and seeing them play, seeing TJ commanding that middle, seeing him Noah, and then DeMarco play. DeMarco with just a ridiculous interception. I mean, super athletic. It was so dope to see. I think this was the game they needed. But, it's like, if you ever seen a Ben Johnson, the Good, Better, Best videos, what does he say? If we clean up some of those issues, because he knows, every coach knows, if you clean things up, you can be even better. And I think they clean up some of those penalties. They clean up some of those situational penalties specifically. It would have been like 50-3 at the end of that game. And I think that perspective will help them go against somebody like the Packers, who are a contender, and who are in a position fighting for the playoffs just like the Bears are.
Yeah, I 100% agree with that. I just want one last thing we'll talk about this game, and then we'll move on. I got to talk about the forced Shedeur Caleb narrative I saw in the media this week. National media got to stop sucking dick. I'm sorry. I have no other way to say it, but I love Prime. Anybody who knows me, Prime is one of my top 5 favorite athletes ever. I love Deion Sanders as a kid. I had a Cowboys Deion Sanders jersey. I was a big Deion Sanders. I had a Baltimore Ravens Deion Sanders. Do you understand? They didn't even make that. I had to get that customized. Okay, so can't nobody question my loyalty to Prime and the Sanders family. Having said all of that, there was no way. You saw what Shedeur did against a bottom feeder team like the Tennessee Titans. The Titans are so bad that I forgot Cam Ward was in the league. That's how bad they are. Joe, when we was at Soldier Field and we was walking, not Soldier Field, we was Lambeau Field and we was walking back from the press room and I saw like them passing out game balls with Titans. I'm like, they got rid of their coach? I had no idea they even had a replacement coach. And Shedeur did all that and they lost. They lost the game. So what made you think that they was going to come to Soldier Field? He was going to come to Soldier Field in ridiculously freezing temperatures and think he was going to do that. It's just ridiculous. We got people like Shady McCoy and Chris Broussard and Emmanuel Acho, all these other people. He's going to play better. And if he plays better, he's better than Caleb. This is what I would say. Shady McCoy was a really good running back. I enjoy watching Shady play. But this is why I laugh when people say, if you didn't play the game, you can't talk about the sport. Shady McCoy played the game at a very high level, was a really good running back. And he says nonsense week in and week out when it comes to this game. It's enough. I don't know if it's something because Caleb is sure of himself. I don't know if it's Caleb paints his nails. I don't know if it's Caleb has extremely high confidence. I don't know if it's because he went to USC and people don't like people who went to school in California. I don't know what it is. Maybe it's a loyalty to Prime, so you can keep getting those 50-yard line passes when you go to Boulder, Colorado. I don't know what it is, but it was real nasty this week from what I saw. And I'm a big Shedeur fan, obviously. Like, I'm rooting for him, but just not this week. We have to throw that watching it late. What do you think it is with the Shedeur Caleb conversation? Because I always feel like people come at Caleb, not even for football, they come at Caleb personally.
I think it's a little less complicated than we've probably made it. I like to just use Occam's razor, another big phrase. Occam's razor just typically says that the simplest answer is closer to the truth than something else. And the simplest answer is the Bears have been the punching bag for a long time. As simple as that. The Bears have been the punching bag for quite some time. And if I'm using Occam's razor and I'm thinking about these multiple, competing explanations, it's the one that has the fewest assumptions and the fewest presuppositions that I'm gonna go with. So I won't assume what, anything more that, Shady or Emmanuel Acho, all these dudes are thinking. But I do know something for sure. The Bears have been the punching bag of the league for quite some time. And it's because Bears will always have fans that travel and fans that'll be hopeful. We'll say the Super Bears, Super Bowl. This is all year. We're going to beat the Packers this year. We're going to do this. We're going to do that. And it never happens. We have one of the most vocal fan bases in the world. And it's easy to pick on the Bears. And fast forward to now where the Bears are a good team. And with every win, the media goes, nah, nope. And I'm not mad that they're doing that because that's just, I did the same thing with fucking Indiana in college football. I'm like, because what happened last year? I think they were 10-0, 9-0, 11-0 before they met the Buckeyes. We smoked their ass and they lost in the playoffs. And so my thought was, nope, hell no. It's Indiana, hell no. And what did they do? They beat us. They had to show and prove. And I think the Bears have done enough to this point where, as several other commentators naturally say, these ain't the same old Bears. I want to say Rich Eisen said it. These ain't the same old Bears. And it started with the coaching. So I'm not so upset that I will see someone like Shady McCoy, because also part of it is we as Black folks love to defend our nephews and our nieces, especially those who have been sort of maligned in the public, who have been mistreated. And, I'm not like crying rivers for Shedeur. But Shedeur was somebody who was one of the best college football quarterbacks during his time at Colorado, and even Jackson State, though that was FCS. He had set records at Colorado State.
So the hate on Caleb is people call him a generation. I think if you don't think it's generation talent, you're blind. I don't even. Damien, don't respect you, but you always come here saying some bullshit, man. Like, enough. Every damn show, you come here saying some bullshit. But anyway,
I don't. And then generational talent, whatever. It's such a difficult term to use. I think one of the only people in the last 10, 15 years that I thought was generational was Trevor Lawrence. And it's because what he did in high school was ridiculous. What he did in college was ridiculous. He was absolutely a generational talent. He's an okay quarterback now.
Generational talent doesn't mean you're going to be a great quarterback. You know
No, for sure. But what I mean by generational talent is that you've blazed a trail of excellence, both individual and on a team level, that can't be ignored. And someone like Trevor Lawrence blazed a trail of excellence on a team level, individual level, both in high school and in college. And he broke every single record that there is, beat every single big team that there is, had every single accomplishment that anyone.
Oh, I'm not disagreeing with you. I agree, Trevor Lawrence.
Right. I was doing a brief just introduction to why, I can understand. That being said, I thought not Trevor Lawrence, but I thought Caleb Williams was, if somebody would say it, I'm like, I get it. I absolutely understand. He did ridiculous things at USC. And when he took over for Spencer Rattler at Oklahoma, he was nuts. But anywho, so my whole thing is I don't feel too much animosity towards the national media because, one, being a national media person is very difficult because, especially in something like, the media landscape now is where you're there to debate show ethics and debate show topics and debate show formats. And because of that, you have to talk as if you're an actual listener and watcher of 32 NFL teams. And it is an impossibility. It would be better if these correspondents, these pundits, these reporters were fans of, they watched a division. So you watch those 4 teams and form opinion, because so often I would see them talk about the Bears. I'm like, you don't even watch. And so that's also, people would not watch the Bears and say, they're going to lose it. And the Bears would lose. And I understand it. But now I think enough has transpired that it's like, okay, now you need to start giving the Bears the props, because it can't be that at every single turn, nope, hell no, nope. Are you just going to nope your way? And like, what if the Bears win a Super Bowl? You going to say it's fluky? Some people will. And so really bother me.
I get that. I do. Obviously, we do content, so I know it's hard enough just to follow one team. My issue isn't just saying the Bears are going to lose or Caleb's going to do this. It just feels personal when some people talk about Caleb Williams, and not just specifically Shady McCoy. And I really start thinking, is it the fingernail thing? Like, it's got to be something that it gets annoying. And also, you're right. It's kind of, I compare it to how the Knicks got good in the NBA the last couple of seasons. Everyone like, Knicks going to do the next, do that. But after that, if you play well, I think you should use your eyes and look at what you're actually watching. The Knicks are a good basketball team. Okay, I don't care what they did in the past. Right now, they're a good team. Like, I understand I'm asking for a lot. It just annoys me personally when people don't take emotion out of their take sometimes. And that shit's just stupid. I mean, I'll just be annoyed about it because it's never going to change. And we live in a hot takey culture where this is going to get clicks. And honestly, it worked because we up here talking about that. So I took the bait.
I never take it personal just because they got a job to do, and that their job is to do that because it gets people to watch, as you just said. It's never personal. It's just people love easy targets. That's all it is. People love easy targets. And with Caleb, you already dislike the fact that he was confident, that he was outspoken, and then you try to find things to poke holes in him. Ooh, you wearing nails, you must be gay. Ooh, you're crying, you must be soft. Oh, he's a cancer in the locker room because he does those things. All it is just trying to find patterns, confirmation bias where it does not exist. That's why just go with the least assumptions as your answer. Occam's razor, you'll be fine. So it's easy. He's easy to pick on. The Bears are easy to pick on. He's an easy target. And eventually you'll have to, teams will people have to notice, because like I see it with Caleb now. All of a sudden it's, oh man, look at Caleb. Iceman does it again. I'm like, best way you shut people up is with how you do things. I mean, look at Patrick Mahomes. His first year, nigga threw 50 touchdowns. First year starting. I was like, man, that shit ain't gonna work. Nigga won 3 Super Bowls since then. And I was like, yeah, I was wrong. So it's part of the game.
You are 100% correct, but you know me, it's not gonna annoy me any less. But anyway, let's move on to looking at this week, final 3 games. So a lot is on the line in the NFL this weekend. A lot was on the line last weekend. Sunday was one of the best witching hours on Red Zone in a while. Going back and forth between the Panthers trying to take control of the NFC South after the Bucks lost and the Saints like, no. Saints playing spoiler to both them and the Bucks the last 2 weeks. You got the Packers trying to win in Denver. The Lions' life is on the line every week now. They were in LA, and then of course the two major injuries. Michael Parsons tears his ACL. Patrick Mahomes tears his ACL. Now this week, the Bears, specifically with the Bears, can clinch a playoff spot, and they do that by beating the Green Bay Packers and by the Detroit Lions losing at home to Aaron Rodgers and the Pittsburgh Steelers. We're going to get into that just in a minute. Now, just want to throw some scenarios out for people and just how much is on the line. So like I just said, the Bears clinch the last two things I just said happen. But in order to win a division, you just win the next two games, you win the NFC North. Or, you know what I'm saying? Or if you go 1-1 and so does the Packers go 1-1, that win against Detroit will not only get you in the playoffs, but will also win the division if they lose. So it's a whole bunch of other stuff. I won't get too far in it because I believe this is going to change week in and week out. There's a big Thursday night football game this Thursday with the Rams and the Seahawks. The winner of that will be number one in the NFC West and the number one seed in the NFC. The loser will be the 5th seed. So there's so much stuff that can change. There is still a world where either team, the Bears, Packers, and the Lions, there's only going to be 2 NFC North teams in the playoffs. And it is yet to be decided who those teams are going to be. Now, I look at it as just win the next 2. Just win the next 2. When you control your own destiny, I don't want to worry about the other options. So if you win on win on Saturday, you got a whole couple days of watching the NFL and be able to see where the chips lay. Now, here's my question for you. Aaron Rodgers and the Pittsburgh Steelers just made light work out of Tua and the Dolphins last night. They are trying to win the AFC North. They've got a Week 18 matchup against the Ravens, which will decide the division pretty much. And they got to stay alive. While Detroit Lions literally cannot lose another game. You know what I'm saying? They cannot lose another game. So they got Aaron Rodgers. Now, obviously, I think Detroit's a better team than Pittsburgh. All together, and they'll be at home, a place where it's very hard to beat them in Ford Field. This is Aaron Rodgers we talk about. This is Aaron Rodgers who's been playing well these last couple weeks. This is Aaron Rodgers who loves beating up on his old NFC North opponents. Are you actually rooting for Aaron Rodgers this weekend?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, obviously I dislike him, period. But my hate for Aaron Rodgers originally stemmed, sports hate, not actual hate, because he's on the freaking Packers. So like that's the biggest thing. It would be like if Bryce Underwood, who is the Michigan quarterback, were to enter the transfer portal and go to Michigan State. And there's a situation where, well, no, actually Michigan, it wouldn't work because we've beat Bryce Underwood. JJ McCarthy, I'm pretty sure was undefeated against Ohio State as a starter. So JJ McCarthy in this hypothetical scenario transfers to Michigan State. Michigan State has a good team, and the Buckeyes need Michigan to lose to jump to like 12th or 11th to get into the CFP. I would root for J.J. McCarthy. Yeah, I mean, it's your old nemesis who beat up on your team, but we're trying to get into the playoffs. You know what I'm saying? We're trying to win. So, yeah, absolutely. I would absolutely root for him. And then, we're at that time of the year where Aaron Rodgers heats up and starts putting niggas down. It's crazy because I can honestly say, not honestly, but it's easy to say he dominated the Bears. That's what he did, but he dominated the division.
The Lions.
That is what he dominated the division. And I know, and he's got that elder statesman now. He's like, those guys got to fight for me. He's gonna come prepared, and I'm absolutely rooting for him. For the first time in my life, I will celebrate the Aaron Rodgers touchdown. You know what I'm saying? It's my team doing it. So yeah, absolutely. No question about it.
Yeah, I'm with you. No question about it. I think the only situation where I'm hesitant on it would be something like 2012, where the Bears needed the Packers to beat the Vikings to make the playoffs. And I said, I don't want it that bad. I would not root for the Packers. He's no longer a Packer. He has been a Packer for a couple years. So do I dislike him? I still hate him very much. But this is gonna be like Stone Cold shaking hands with Vince McMahon in WrestleMania 17. Okay, yeah. So. It's for the greater good. I will be rooting for him. Like you said, he's been playing really well. I don't have faith in that team per se, But Aaron Rodgers and Mike Tomlin is an evil link up that I did not want to see, but might come to my advantage this Sunday. And he got to go out there and take care of business, because the Ravens got a tough Sunday night game. They got to play the Patriots. And you know what I'm saying? Both teams are trying to win this division. You know, Aaron Rodgers, if this isn't his last season, he probably got one more left in him. I personally think this is his last season, just for the way that he almost retired this year. He wants to get one more crack at it. And we can see numbers, whatever. I'm trying to look at, I think his numbers, even though I looked at it the other day, I'm like, what is Aaron Rodgers' numbers? I got Aaron Rodgers' stats right. Aaron Rodgers has 2,594 yards passing, 22 touchdowns, 7 interceptions. So for somebody who's his age, that's pretty good. So yes, I will be rooting for him, man. But let's close this up with a Bears-Packers preview. Bears-Packers round 2 this Saturday night night football on Fox. They'll have the number 1 team be in the house. Kevin Burkhardt, Tom Brady, the GOAT, will be in the house. Maybe I can actually run into him this time. We have been in like 4 games that Tom Brady has done with the Bears, and I never seen it. I don't know if they make him go throughout another exit, or I don't know. I never see Tom Brady at these games, but he will be covering. And the funny thing about this might be round 2 of a 3-game series, because if the Bears and Packers both win this weekend, not Bears, Packers, but if the Bears and Packers make the playoffs, that's going to be the 2-7 matchup. It's just a matter of where it's going to be. And honestly, when you play your division rival 3 times, it don't matter where it's going to be, because that 3rd game is going to be stupid, finish, alert. It's just dumb stuff happens when you play a rival 3 times. So I look at it like this, man. I am the most confident I have ever been heading into a Packers game in my entire life. Obviously, Micah Parsons is not going to be playing. Christian Watson is up in the air. He's got that AC joint going on. We won't know till practice what the practice status looks like. But a lot of people are saying that he might not play this week. It doesn't look bad enough for him to miss the entire season, but he might not play this week. So that'd be a big blow for them. On the Bears side, Luther Burden left with an ankle injury. Now, I don't know if they didn't bring him back in because the game was already won and they didn't want to risk it. Now, today is a walkthrough. So there will be any injury report you see today is guessing, because it's not actual practice. So we're not going to know Luther Burden's status at the earliest till tomorrow. Rome Odunze, me personally, from the way that Ben Johnson was talking, I don't think we see Rome for the rest of the season. That's just my personal opinion. This is not off what nobody has been telling us. He said at the press conference yesterday, when Courtney Cronin asked him would they shut him down, he said all options are on the table. And honestly, that's the right decision, because Rome is still very young. Still very young. And I see a lot of y'all getting off the Rome bandwagon already. Don't act like I don't peep. He has some drop problems, but I am not off on the boy Rome yet. I see y'all doing that. But at the most, I need Luther Burden to play this game. You need Luther Burden to play this game. Keep utilizing DJ Moore. Like you said, Joe, he's 28. He's your number 1 guy the last couple of years. Keep feeding him. If I've got DJ Moore, Luther Burden, Colston Loveland, Cole Kmet, who as much shit as I give Cole, is having a solid year, and DeAndre Swift, Kyle Manunga, used him in the pass game, I'm calm. But I'm confident about it, but I also have a little bit of nervousness in me because it is the Green Bay Packers. And until we actually beat them when it matters, I'm going to always have that little bit of nervousness in there. So, and it's a massive game.
Right. I don't think there's anything, obviously you're not suggesting that, but there's some Bears fans like, oh, we don't really be scared. It's not about being scared. It's just like, ooh, it's a big game. I mean, I think about Ohio State and Michigan. This year we beat that ass, but that's after 4 years of them beating our ass. Matter of fact, those first 2 years weren't even close. Like, they were coming out and smoking us. I was like, what the fuck is happening? I realized, we're entering a different era. Last year, close. Should have been won, didn't. This year they won. And so what was it? And at this point, they were 2 years ago, they were national championships. So it was to beat the man. To be the man, you got to beat the man. And they did that this year. And it's the same thing with the Packers. I will never take a game for granted and think that a Packers game for granted and think they're just going to win, because I think that's stupid until they do. And it's like literally Ohio State and Michigan in the 90s, they traded. From 2001 to 2020, we beat the dog shit out of them.
This is like
dominating us. And so it goes through cycles. They have been dominating us for quite some time. This might be the time when the Bears finally sever that cycle and begin a different cycle where maybe they dominate, maybe they trade.
There comes a moment in every rivalry where if you're going to make that next leap, if you're a team, you got to beat out the guy or the guy who's been beating your ass. Like you just said, in order for Michigan to win the national championship, they had to smoke Ohio State. It just had to happen. I know a lot of y'all young, and we only remember the Boston Red Sox beating up the Yankees for the last 20 years. That used to not be the case.
Right.
The Yankees used to pummel these boys all the time. 2003, the year before they won the World Series. Y'all don't know if you remember that one. The Aaron Boone walk-off. Yeah. They had the Yankees dead to rights. It was one bad inning. The manager left Tim Wakefield in there way too long, and Aaron Boone, that home run is the reason he's still employed right now. You know what I'm saying? Like, so it takes a moment. When Kobe finally got over, when Kobe won the 2009 championship, you know why he felt like he wasn't fulfilled? Because he didn't get a chance to beat the Celtics. And then he beat the Celtics. You got to eventually knock them out. So, I know I can hear about every injury in the book until you consistently beat the Green Bay Packers. And we beat them last year, for sure. Awesome. We weren't in it last year. In 2018, when they won the division, the Packers were terrible in 2018. So this is a game that both sides need.
Was Aaron Rodgers injured?
He was injured majority of the season, but he played that final game. He was injured majority of the season. But this game means the most to both teams because I truly feel like this game is going to decide the division. I truly feel like the winner of this game will do enough to get one more win in final two and win the division. So that's why it's so important. Having said all of that, I do believe the Bears win. I do believe it's going to be a close game. Something tells me this is not going to go down to the last play, though. I don't know why. I just got that feeling. I think they're going to come out very quickly. And here's my final. I might regret this. 31-21 Bears is how I feel.
I was going to say 34-24, so I'm not. I agree. What I think is going to end up happening is the Bears are going to probably go up to a 14-3 halftime win, and the Packers are just going to play catch up. So, it'll be 14-3. Packers score is 14-10. Bears score, it's 21-10. Packers score, Bears score, Packers score, last one. Doesn't matter. And, I absolutely see that. I was thinking 10-point win.
Yeah. It's going to be a good game. We will be there. I think the high on Saturday is 47 degrees. Let me look at the app right here. Saturday is a high of 43. That is grilling weather compared to what we had at Soldier Field this past week. And that just tells me the tailgate is going to crack.
High of 43. Precipitation looks like it won't be really anything. It's a 0% chance of precipitation. Low is going to be 24 at 12 a.m. The high will be 42 between 2 to 3. Temperature range could feel like 12 to 37. It's going to be a good time for some good offense.
I will say this. I know I said this last week, and I'm continuing to say it because we got this big home game. I hope the Detroit game isn't a big game, but it might be. And then you might have a playoff home game. I said it last week. I'm going to repeat it again. Do not let Jim Cornelison in that building. I'm going to keep saying it. Do not let Jim Cornelison in that building. That worked for the Blackhawks. It worked for the Bulls in 2015 when he was in the anthem. It has not worked for the Bears. Leave him at home. I don't want to see Brian Urlacher coming out with Mike Singletary. Leave all them at home. Okay. Every time we do that, they lose. I'm not superstitious, but I'm a little stitious. So stop it. Okay. Enough. Just get it done. So that's all we got for y'all today, man. I thought this was a really good episode, man. I will be previewing the game even more on Friday. I'm Not Gonna Hold You live episode. Of course, we'll have all the injury reports by then, so we'll have more of an idea of who's going to play for both teams. So anything you want to say before we get up out of here?
Not at all. I'm exhausted.
All right. I can tell you're exhausted and you still got kids to teach. So that is all we got for y'all. Follow us at Barberchair Scott, at Flows and Alini. All the links to everything that you need to subscribe to is in the description box. I'm going to holler at y'all Friday afternoon for I'm Not Gonna Hold You live. We up out of here, man. It's your boy Scott.
Bobby Ingham, Curtis Ennis. Know that
What's
we
up,
been
everybody?
loyal way back from the beginning. A trusted source for the news. 'Cause every night for Halas, what it is, what it do. Since Bobby Ingham, Curtis Ennis. Know that we been loyal even when we wasn't winning. A trusted source for the news. 'Cause every night for Halas in your ears, you.
Awesome.
Bobby
The Bears.
Ingham,